If we hit 29,000 on the Dow today, it might be because the president greased the skids for it when it came to Boeing. That stock was already up, but it went up a little bit further when the president said, weighing in on this plane crash, this Ukrainian Airlines plane crash in Iran that claimed 176 lives, that he does not believe that crash in Iran was due to mechanical error. He also said that something could have been done, that somebody made a mistake, and that something very terrible happened, essentially saying that it was not, again, not on Boeing. Now, there's already separately a report out today that the Iranians might have accidentally shot down that aircraft, something they heatedly deny. It was something we raised with a pilot yesterday, Kyle Bailey, who said that the timing of all of this was odd because there was no drama on the flight 2 minutes into it when it took off, and then a catastrophic event, as he defined it, and then the crash itself. That had the inkling of maybe something that was not mechanical, but something that was sudden and all of a sudden out of the blue. Now, a lot of Pentagon officials believe that the plane was indeed shot down. The Ukrainian liner itself already prompted the Ukrainians themselves to say, we cannot say that this was mechanical. So this is fueling an increasing debate that there's a reason why the Iranians are against giving that black box from that plane to Boeing, or anyone else for that matter. Now, the president had posited the possibility, well, maybe you can give it to an independent third party, the French or other countries, even the Canadians, since 63 of their citizens were killed on this plane crash. But for the first time, the president weighing in on all of this, that it doesn't smell right. I mentioned this in the context of the Dow getting close to 29,000 because Boeing, which has been a bit of a drag on the Dow in this otherwise incredible pursuit of these records, now Boeing is helping the Dow in that pursuit, a little bit 23 points away from down 29,000. As Charlie Brady, our stocks editor, was reminding me before I got up here, it was only about 35, 36 days ago that we hit 28,000. So there are a lot of cross currents and developments here. Let's go to Charlie Gasparino, Walzer Wealth Management CEO Rebecca Walzer, and Jenny, Chief Investment Strategist Mark Lashini. Mark, with you, begin with you. For Boeing, of course, it would be an enormous concern if yet another crash was on them. It's way too early to say one way or the other. But obviously, the reaction in the investment community is that there are a lot of things that might have issues with when it comes to the 737 MAX, but maybe not here. The implications of that, what do you think?
Well, certainly very important due to the fact that obviously expectation around Boeing is that they're working heavily towards resolving what the 737 problems were. And this would be a setback along that path. And so now perhaps with this being given a rationale for some other cause away from the operation of the plane itself, it goes a long way, as you can see by way of what you talked about with regard to Boeing's share price, that investors have become more enthused about perhaps the trials and tribulations of the 737 are increasingly becoming a rearview mirror issue.
You know, Rebecca, as we look at this pursuit of 29,000 and a rally that just cannot cease or even slow down, hiccups along the way, what does this tell you right now? Obviously, there's the anticipated relief that this didn't get bigger, that is in Iran, than was feared. But there's the earnings backdrop, there's the optimism that this continues or that the growth in earnings continues. What's playing out here, you think?
You know, not to use an airplane analogy, but, we still have more runway to go on this economy. I don't see anything happening before this election, at least. At least that's my hopes. I'm hoping every day. But, the fundamentals, the president there speaking with the people from the unions and encouraging, Boeing shareholders to say, you know what, something's not right. They're not giving over the black box. What's the reason for that? There is a reason for that. It's not a mechanical issue. Otherwise, they would be saying, hey, figure this out. You owe us right away. And that's not happening. So I see with the low unemployment, with the low wage growth, the real true wage growth, with USMCA, Phase 1 China deal next Wednesday, and potentially a future, I see a UK-US bilateral trade agreement hopefully this year coming as soon as Brexit happens. we've got a lot of legs still to go in this economy.
You know, if you think of what fuels this, Charlie Gasparino, and it started even before the tax cuts, when the president first came in and was starting to hack away at regulations. And he continued that theme today to try to speed up the time it takes to approve getting bridges built, highways done, et cetera. So he's sort of put that on steroids here. And I always like to think that this recovery, or the speed up of the recovery, if you will, started on that front before even tax cuts took effect. What do you think?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And if you look at the markets, they kind of stalled out as soon as he went into trade war mode. I mean, it was very interesting. Donald Trump gets elected. We have a Republican Congress. Obviously, the bet was on Wall Street, lower taxes on corporations, on individuals, and a lot less regulations. He did deliver on that. But then it stalled, and it stalled about a year into his presidency. The markets did. If you look at it, it was kind of flatlined until recently. It flatlined because of trade, but now Trump is dealing with the trade issue. And if we've had a cessation of the war with China right now, the trade war with China. Markets are taking that to be very positive. We should point out, if he gets a decent trade deal or something that just, if it's détente, you know, that's really good for the markets. And I think that's what you see being priced in right now. At least détente with China, no more, you know, tariffs on each side. If there's marginally something good, that's even better. We should point out that the manufacturing sector has taken it on the chin because of the trade and the tariffs. That may be one of the final things. If he gets that done, you know, the president's going to have a mighty fine economy to run on in 2020. I can't imagine, and this is where politics gets involved. Are you going to really elect some of the American people, the average American, going to elect someone that wants to do a 180 on all this? I mean, it's really an unbelievable question.